In this video, we will be replacing the spark plugs and spark plug wires in this 2008 Hyundai Elantra. We first want to gain access to the engine bay. Taking a look in the engine bay, we will be focusing our attention on the centermost portion of the engine. On the top of my engine, I have two 10mm bolts. I will be using a little Amsoil metal protector to help loosen those bolts as I remove them. This will allow us to remove our plastic cover and gain access to the area that we need to be working on. And underneath that cover, we can see our 4 spark plug locations. We can also see our 4 spark plug wires. We will be replacing these one at a time. We can work off the spark plug wire for our first one that we will be working on by wiggling and pulling. And pulling from the base, we can remove the other side of that spark plug wire. And before removing the spark plug, to prevent debris from falling into the cylinder, I will be using a little compressed air with a long nozzle to blow out any debris that may be in that location. And I will be using a spark plug socket which has an extension, a swivel, and a 5/8 inch end to remove that spark plug. The spark plug gap for our new spark plugs needs to be between 0.039 and 0.043 inches. And I always like to make sure that my new spark plug looks pretty much like my old spark plug. And with a spark plug gapping tool, we can set that spark plug gap. And then we can apply just a little bit of anti-seize to the threads of our new spark plug. And we need to make sure that we are threading this by hand first to reduce the chance that we cross-thread the spark plug. We should be able to get a bunch of turns, yet when we pull the socket out, the spark plug is not connected. And then we need to finish up by torquing it to 168 inch-pounds. We then want to find our new spark plug wire that matches the same length as our old spark plug wire. And then before installing it, we want to apply a little bit of dielectric grease to each of our connection points. And then we can work that into position. And if we take a little bit closer look where we are installing this, we do see a small arrow indicating the direction that the spark plug wire needs to travel. And we can then follow that wire to our coil pack and wiggle that onto the connection point. And we are then ready to move on to number 2. Pull the wire, disconnect it from the coil, a little compressed air in our hole location. Next we can remove our spark plug from the engine, set our new spark plug gap, apply a little anti-seize, reinstall it in the engine, starting it by hand, torque it to 168 inch-pounds, find our new spark plug wire, apply a little dielectric grease, and reinstall our new spark plug wire at both points. And the remaining 2 locations are done in the same fashion. There is no unusual circumstances. It follows the same procedure. And before putting our cover back on, I want to test the engine just to make sure everything sounds right and I don't get any check engine lights or any errors of other sorts. Everything looks good and sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and replace my cover with my 2 10mm bolts. Taking a look at the old spark plugs from left to right as they sit in the engine. When I measured them, I had 0.052, 0.047, 0.049, and 0.050. A new spark plug, if you remember, should be set to between 0.039 and 0.043. In general, the spark plug gap will increase in size by 1/1000th of an inch every 10,000 miles. So given that this vehicle has about 110,000 miles on it, it is normal for this gap to be about 11 thousandths bigger than it was originally set. If the original measurement was 0.040, 11 thousandths bigger than that is 0.051, which falls into the approximate range of what these spark plugs are. I also like to take a look at my common spark plug conditions chart and compare that to each of the spark plugs. This spark plug was the first one that I removed. If we take a close look at our chart, I think this most clearly lines up with the carbon deposits, or possibly even a little bit of ash deposits, which may indicate a fuel-related issue. In taking a look at the second spark plug that I replaced, I think that most closely lines up with the normal category for my common spark plug conditions, and my third and fourth spark plug also match that normal condition. So all in all, it was good to have replaced these spark plugs.